Hola, you amazing artist, and welcome to another episode of this thing that doesn't have a name, puppets, show you old videos thing. In this video, Rafi and Clee sit down and answer some Q&As, or some Q's, and give you the A's for the Q's. So, without further ado, enjoy this Q&A. Yay! Yep. That's okay. That you're supposed to go watch the. Oh, I'm supposed to put it out. Okay. Oh yeah. All right, let's enjoy the video. Yeah.
A very random segment with Rafi and Clee. A very random segment.
We wanted to take the opportunity and answer these questions for you.
To A the Q's.
To A the Q's. So let's just get started right away, shall we?
All right, shall. Becca asked us, what kind of music do you guys listen to when you're working on a piece? And the answer to that is, whoa, Nelly, brace yourselves, okay? We listen to a lot of stuff, including audiobooks, classical music, 90s music, funk, jazz, Gregorian chanting,
60s music, 70s music, 80s music,
film scores,
rap, old school rap.
Yeah. Lately it's been a mixture of audiobooks, film scores, including the Doctor Who soundtrack.
Yep.
Some Regina Spektor, sometimes some Jack Johnson gets thrown in that mix.
It's funny how all of those things kind of influence our art, or our art influences what we want to listen to. So it's like this back and forth game that happens between it. Some days I could listen to Johnny Cash the entire day.
Oh, Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
I can't believe I forgot about him.
Some days I want to listen to Regina Spektor. Some days I want to listen to They Might Be Giants. Some days I want to listen to an audiobook.
We definitely shuffle through a huge playlist. I would say if I had to pick a favorite to listen to that's almost always inspiring, it's probably film scores.
Film scores, yeah.
Charity asked us, on your YouTube live yesterday, I asked if you use prefab stretcher bars or made your own, and you had said that you make your own. So to add to that question, when you're making your super big canvases, like the one you did for the pig, and some of the others, what canvas rolls are you ordering, and where are you ordering from, and how are you making your stretcher bars? Sorry if that's a lot, lol. I'm handy with all the cutting type tools, and I have a garage full and would really like to venture into making my own canvases, especially because, as you know, the bigger canvases are uber expensive to buy pre-made.
Yeah, they are uber expensive to buy pre-made, which is why I create my own canvas. Now, here's the irony of that question, is that last week somebody shared with me that the Habitat for Humanity has over 1 million different canvas stretcher bars, and if I would like to go pick them up. Even though that is like a dream come true, first of all, I don't have the room for additional stretcher bars here in the studio, and it is much easier for me just to go to Home Depot, buy 2x2s of wood, make sure that they're nice and straight, cut the edges into 45-degree angles, put them together, and put a bar in the center, a stretcher bar in the center, and then stretch my canvas over that. Canvas that I get, I order from Blick. Blick has the large rolls of canvas that you buy by the yard, and that's where I buy my canvas. If you want to shave off a 45-degree angle on one side of the 2x2, you can, but in all honesty, just 2x2 pieces of wood, make sure that they're straight. That's what I use to build my larger pieces of canvas. The smaller ones I still buy. I just buy them from Blick because they're not worth the amount of work that goes into it. But the larger ones, most definitely.
As they are uber expensive.
Uber expensive.
All right, our next question comes from Rob. Hi guys, you said you build your own frames for canvases. I see a video topic coming here.
Oh, maybe.
Have you recorded a how-to on cutting stretcher bars? He has a full woodworking shop and would love to make some, and he's built some panels for display like the ones you made. And also in the upper levels of Patreon, do you do step-by-step techniques on video? And I've also seen color wheels hanging around in the background of your videos. Have you done a color wheel video, and how might you use it in your work? Sorry for so many questions. Pick one.
I don't, what?
Do you have a how-to on stretcher bars?
No, I do not have a how-to on stretcher bars because it's basically just 2x2 pieces of wood that I buy at the store. And really, the stretcher bars, all they are pieces of wood to make sure that you have a surface where you could stretch the canvas onto. Just a wooden frame that you stretch your canvas over. That's
basic
about it.
Framing.
Yes.
Deanne said, howdy, wondering if you ever reuse a canvas or a portion of a canvas that just didn't go as hoped. If so, how do you go about prepping it for reuse, or do you just keep reworking it? And a brush cue, since I have yet to go bigger than 16 by 20 but really want to. Is there any way to gauge what size or type of bristle might work best, at least a starting point? Thank you.
Obviously, when you're dealing with more detail, there are certain fine bristle brushes that are better than others, but when it comes to the bigger paintbrushes, I just go to Home Depot and buy some paintbrushes and play around with those and see which ones I like the most. As far as paintings, there are some paintings that I've reused, and essentially what happens is that painting just kind of sits in the background as an unfinished piece. And what I'll do in order to prep the piece so that the paint adheres to the surface, I won't re-gesso it, but I will grab sandpaper and just kind of sand that surface and make it a little bit more porous so that the paint sticks to it so it doesn't eventually peel off of there.
And I've seen you use pre-existing texture as the inspiration for the new piece, and sometimes I've seen you kind of sand it down.
Yep.
Or retexture over it.
Retexture, sand it down. I always sand it so that the paint adheres to it, but I will definitely either use the texture or just retexture over it.
Our next question is from Brandon. Hey guys, question for the both of you. If you could have one original painting or art piece in the whole world, what would it be?
One original painting or art piece?
Isn't
like from anywhere?
From any existing art. There are a lot of pieces of art that I greatly admire. Like, I really love the works of Vermeer quite a bit. I'm sure I wouldn't refuse an original Vermeer if it was on my doorstep. I love the painting called Nighthawks. What's his name? Hopper.
Mm-hmm.
I love a lot of works by Salvador Dali. There are so many paintings. Gustav Klimt is another one that I love greatly. But more so than wanting to have a piece of art in my home where only I could enjoy it, what I greatly desire to do is visit a lot of places in the world and take in the original artworks with my own two eyes.
Yeah.
That's what I would love if I had a wish.
Me personally, what I would love to be able to do is go to their studio while it's a working studio and actually sit there and watch their creative process, not so much how they create the work, but just themselves as people.
A glimpse of who they are or were.
Yeah, a glimpse of who they are or who they were, what the madness was that was going on, what the lack of madness or the wrong interpretation was. To basically just, whenever I think of like those times where like Picasso and all those other artists were sitting at the cafe drinking the beer, I always think of those kind of conversations that would take place between like a creative group like that. And I think to just be a part of that, that's what I would want more than just owning one of their works of art.
To have a bit of that experience.
Yeah, that's the experience I would love to have.
Same, I agree with you on that too.
All right, what's next?
Deanne asked us, hey, without mentioning any company names, what did you do at that all-dreaded, suit-requiring, soul-sucking, joy-draining, mind-stifling, bottom-lining, conformity-necessitating, Kool-Aid-infusing, ethics-spending corporate job you kicked to the curb? Just curious.
There were several corporations that I worked for where I had this position, was a corporate trainer. I was a corporate trainer, so I basically went in and opened up stores and trained management and trained employees and set up the entire system. I also was a manager, and for one company, I was the West Coast regional sales manager.
Which involved a lot of driving.
A lot of driving. That was the great part, except that I had to drive from one business to the other and sleep in hotel rooms and not really had a chance to like go out and experience stuff. I love driving, so that was great. But also when I wasn't doing that part of the job, I was sitting in a cubicle. And with the corporate training job, I loved being out in front of the classes and talking to people and teaching them different techniques and things like that. But when I wasn't doing that, I was sitting down doing paperwork and sending off the corporate emails and going back and forth with people. It just wasn't me. Management was the same thing. I loved managing people. I loved talking to people. I loved training people. But dealing with the corporate bullcrap of them treating my employees like they were simply numbers and paychecks versus human beings, that also killed me on the inside a little bit.
Till the point where you were like, no sirs, I won't stand for it.
We'll not do it anymore. Nope.
Our final question comes from Michelle. Hi, wonderful couple. My question, if both of you were invited to create a large outdoor installation anywhere in the world with an unlimited budget, where would you like it to be set? And bonus question, may I? What would be a possible subject, and with what amazing materials? So what initially came to mind was Chicago.
Right.
The hometown stomping ground, maybe Millennium Park or somewhere like that.
That's a good one. The first place that came to my mind was France for some reason. France or Italy. I've wanted to go and visit those places that have that history and kind of bring in this flavor of this modern flair with the old world type of feeling to it. One of the installations that I have in mind is doing something that is similar to what we did for the Happy Art Tour, where I built animatronic sculptures. And this would be kind of like the old culture meeting the new culture. So a lot of the old philosophies mixing in with a much more modern twist.
What would you build them out of, do you think?
I think if I had an unlimited budget, I think I would build them out of recycled materials, spoons and milk cartons and things like that, where you would be able to tell that that's what they're built from, and the mechanisms would be hidden within that.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what exactly I would build. I've had lots of ideas over the years. A bigger version of my Firefly installation. A humongous giant tree. The same style that I do my tiny trees in. With an unlimited budget, I think I would work in silver.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe even some gold too.
Is that it for the questions?
Those are our questions.
All right.
Yeah,
Sweet. Well, thank you so much for the questions, you guys. That was fun.
Yeah, I love the Q&A.
This week has been really good and flowing so far, so I'm very, very happy with our new schedule.
Yeah, it's good.
That's it. Thank you so much for those questions, you guys. I absolutely love you and adore you.
You're amazing and awesome.
Yep. Adios.
Goodbye.